Welcome everybody. Welcome to today's CKA lab. In today's lab, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a pod YAML file has three errors, and we're going to try and troubleshoot and get it up and running all the way. That's the lab, right? So if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that if you did that. That helps me with YouTube's algorithm. All right, so let's take a look at our YAML file. We're going to try and apply it and see what errors we get. All right, the first error, blah, 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 blah. Error converting YAML in line 7, mapping values are not allowed in this context. The thing with error message from Kubernetes is, even though they're kind of cryptic and at first glance you think, hey, well, I don't know what to make of it, if you pay real close attention, there's enough clues in there for you to figure out what's wrong, or at least get very close to it. So let's take a look at line 7 and in the file and see what's happening. Let's do a VI on that file. Line 7 is here. What you would sometimes, I would say majority of the time, you also need to look at the line before. So if you look at here, this container part looks just fine. How I know that? Because if I do this, if I do k explain, my favorite command, and say pod.spec, I see that containers here is a valid thing, and it is an object. So looking at the file again, containers : is the right thing. That should not be a problem, but that's line 7. So let's look at what's happening before that. What you see here is there's restart policy of never, but the restart policy, why is this line starting at the same level as spec? You see, it's at the first column, right? Anytime you have an object denoted by a colon, the next line is almost always, well, unless it's an array, 2 spaces to the right. That's not a good example, but here. Anyway, so there should not be anything at the same level that belongs to the map or the object. It should be 2 spaces to the right. So let's try that. And even visually, that kind of makes sense, actually. Now you see how it matches up. So let's do that. Let's run this again and see what error we get next. You see the error message changed. That probably means your first error is now resolved. So let's pay real close attention to the next one. Blah, 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 blah. Validating data. First thing to look at, pod underscore metadata. So that's the clue. Maybe it's under metadata. Let's see what else it says. Invalid type for IO API machinery. Those don't really matter so much. Object metadata. God string expected map. That's a very common error message. God string expected map. All right, so let's take a look at the file again under metadata. All right. Okay, look at the file under metadata. Expected God string expected map. So you see under metadata, there's name and fix. God string, that means this whole thing is a string as far as Kubernetes is concerned, which it is. There's nothing, no colon, no dash, no nothing. It's just a bunch of letters. That's a problem because it's expecting, what is it expecting? It's expecting a map. That means it's expecting a colon, all right? Map means object means colon. So sure enough, the colon here is missing. It should be something colon space something, just like everything else. Something colon space something. So the colon was missing. So let's try to apply again. Ooh, it got created. So where is the third problem? There is no third problem, right? Well, let's see. Is it running? It is not running. It's saying error message pool. All right, it's error image pool. That means it could not download the image. Well, let's look at the file again and see what image is it supposed to download. Container image. You see there's a spelling mistake, nginx, right? There should be an N in here. There's no such image as ngix, right? So that's the third problem. Let's see if that fixed the problem. All right, configured. Okay, get pod. Now it's running. So that's how we troubleshoot the problems. In this particular case, there were three different problems. One before, two with the YAML file, third with the image, right? Again, the lesson here too is pay real close attention to the error message. There's enough clues in there for you to hone in on the right place of the problem, right? Okay, all right. So that's the end of this lab, and I will see you in the next lab.